What's up to Mahogany Sweets once again? I actually decided that while I'm here, I might as well re-record the first part to my how we should handle the police state and misconduct of the police, part 1, because I had loaded it, was even having a conversation on it, and then the video just disappeared. So they took it down. I'm not sure actually how that happened or why, because they did not even, oh, you know what, it might be inside. I haven't even went to check my studios, because I was about to say maybe they stated in there why they took it down or what happened, but I haven't checked, so I'll check that after I get off of here. I just want to redo part 1 concerning this police issue. So I do not believe that we should defund and dismantle the police force. I am aware that here in the United States, the police, actually, you know what, it might not even just be the United States, because I have been seeing videos from the UK and other European nations where blacks are, and they are by the police being targeted just like here in America. But we are aware that here in America, the police, they say that it pretty much was instituted through the slave watchers, and then later grew into this like police force organization. Well, I just want you to know that police, judges, stuff like that are not a new thing. That did not start here in America. Pretty much from the beginning of time, they knew that they needed judges and those to instruct laws once they were created. Like kings had people, I guess they called them knights then, pretty much knights and warriors, I guess you can say, were the ones who did the police work basically. And we had judges then as well. Pretty much the kings though were the ones who gave out the judgments, but their knights, their warriors, were the ones who would bring in criminals, the people committed crimes, if there was issues between citizens. So that's something that's been going on, that did not start here in America, and they are necessary. It's just here in America we have a big issue with how they conduct themselves. They are picking and choosing unlawfully how they are going to uphold the law and who they're going to uphold it with, and if they're going to follow protocol based on race, nationality, socioeconomic status, and things of that sort, which is horrible. So what I think would be a good plan, and what needs to be implemented, number 1 is police being held accountable for their crimes. That would diminish a lot of the crimes police are committing behind their badge. That would limit a lot of it if they were just held accountable by the law for it. If a regular civilian would be arrested and face trial for killing someone unlawfully, the police should too. If a regular civilian would be fined and get charged with assault for assaulting someone, the police should as well. If a regular civilian would be charged or face penalty for obstructing justice, lying, giving false witness and stuff like that, the cops should as well. Because this is my thing. We know that civilians can be criminals, right? But that's a given. They're civilian. They are not trained or held to the same standard as someone who's supposed to be enforcing the law is. So I believe that the penalty and the standard for a cop should be even higher to uphold the law and do things justly, due to the fact that you have been given a position of power. You are a public servant. You should know better. You should have a greater ethics code and moral high ground that you function off of in the world. If you have taken a position to uphold the law, to enforce the law, you should be upholding it. So if we force the government to deal with them accordingly as the criminals that they are, that would take care of a lot. That would diminish and deter a lot of them from committing crimes behind their badge. Number 2, we should make the police insure themselves, so that way if they are negligent, if they face lawsuit, all of that, they should have to pay for their own lawyers. In that case, they should have to pay personally their own bond. They should have to pay out settlements to the public in which they misuse their power and badge. Okay, so let's make them insure themselves, make it come out of police union. I bet you they'll start acting right then. They got to insure themselves, or money coming out of police union for their bad conduct. Number 3, officers who are with them, since they running a gang, you know what I'm saying, because that's what they turned into, a gang, the attack dogs for the government. Because we also need to hold the government accountable. They're not the police aren't the only problem. The government that enables them, the government that gives them over this power and these loopholes to basically be criminals themselves, are also to blame. So we need to make the government hold them accountable and do better training. Which actually, I won't even say they need better training. I'm going to tell you why. Because we have seen time and time again, when they come into contact with white assailants who have weapons, who have killed people, who are even trying to attack and threaten their lives, they still know how to miraculously get that person apprehended, alive and well, and they allow the court system to serve justice to that person. Where with black people, they choose to be jury, judge, and executioner. So we need to strip them of that and demand that they deal with every citizen the way that they know they have to deal with their own. Because the reason why they don't behave that way with their own is because they know there's no way that not only the government but those people would stand and allow that. They would be calling for that person, that officer's head, and they would take their officer's head themselves if the government did not do it. So those are reasons why they don't deal with their own the way that they deal with us. The law is giving them a pass to deal with us a certain way. So we need to not only deal with these officers as far as, okay, government, if you ain't gonna do what you're supposed to do, we will, which will make them line up, but it'll also make the government say, let's line up, because if we don't serve out justice properly, the people are going to go ahead and do what do they call it? Not street justice, but they're going to do community, tribal, societal justice themselves. So that also would encourage them. You know, they send in our children, our women, our men home beaten, bloodied, and stuff like that. If they come home at all, no, let them get a taste of their own medicine. And we beat them, stone them basically out in the streets. And they will correct their behavior. And what you have to understand is a lot of these officers, them becoming a cop isn't what made them a criminal or a murderer. They were already that. They took the position of a cop because it legalized them being able to be a criminal, a murderer, a gang. It also allowed them, as the coward that they are, to have the least resistance in being able to commit these crimes against the citizens, due to the fact that they are in a position of power. They do have a gun, a badge, other gadgets, partner, a gang member with them. So their behavior was already there. They were already these evil and morally corrupt individuals. They were already these murderers and criminals. They just ran into law to disguise it and hide it. Which you do have some who actually are men of renown, who actually are protectors. They actually are leaders. They actually are selfless. They actually are courageous. These ones just aren't. And we need to hold those ones accountable as well, because if your partner or people on your squad, you see that they are not upholding the law properly, you should be calling that in. You should not be letting them go out and call themselves interacting with the public when you know that they do not have the moral, spiritual, and decency in them to have that position and have that power. So they should be held accountable on that end. No, you should be reporting all unconstitutional, all criminal behavior that your partners or people on your squad are committing. Because not only are they out here, do you have these horrible cops out here killing and beating and abusing their powers in that way, but they're also planting evidence. They're also giving false testimony, false witness, making false reports and stuff like that. So which we see and know that ourselves from when we see the videos of the person not resisting and they're screaming that they're resisting just so they can try and beat them some more or pull out their gun and shoot them. So we need to make them be accountable so that they hold their partners accountable and bring up the morale of their district, their precinct. But so make them insure themselves. Make them have to face justice for the crimes that they've committed. And the it was a third thing. What was the third thing? See, I'm so mad that they got rid of my video. See, I had deleted the video after I upload. That's what I do. I just try and go through and delete it so I can still have space on my phone. So I wish I could have been able to look at that video to see everything I stated in there. Oh, and that was the other thing. Right. And us as a people, black people, as we push and force them, the government, to get in line and to hold their officers accountable, and with those things, it by itself should detour a lot of them from even signing up to be a cop, because then they're going to realize I can't hide behind this badge to be the horrible, insecure, coward, ego-tripping murderer and criminal that I want to be. A lot of them aren't even going to go into the police force because they're going to see they can't hide behind that. The other ones who probably aren't that morally to par still will fall in line if they have to insure themselves, because guess what? That police union, they having to come out of their pockets. That coming out of 401s and pensions, these lawsuits and these trials and stuff. Trust me, even their partners then and the DA and government will come down on them, because now they're going to be like, hey, you're affecting our money. So we're going to need to make them act right and get them in line, which by other means, whether they having to face jail time themselves for their crimes, or whether they're using up their own money, not taxpayers' money that they are abusing. Other thing is we need to get rid of paid suspensions and paid time sitting at home or paid desk work. No, if they have violated their position and their duty, committing a crime behind that badge, they should be immediately terminated without pay. No severance pay and all that. If they commit a crime, they forfeit their paid vacation, their paid time off. They forfeit their pensions, all of that. That's what the other penalty that should come into place. You are going to lose those things due to the fact they were given to you to be an honorable, upstanding, selfless, courageous man of renown for the public. And you have not shown that you deserve this and that you have fulfilled that role, so you're not going to get it. But us, we need to begin as a community going back to our ancient ways and customs where we policed ourselves. We had the elders, because that's the thing. Let's get them out of our neighborhoods. They are not serving us right. They should not also, the other thing that will detour a lot of this, if you do not live in this community, you cannot police it. Stop. We should demand and make it to where they cannot come and work in our communities. No, you stay over there where you at. Don't come to my community treating it as a combat zone, because that's another problem in our communities that we have, is the police come here and agitate, antagonize, bully the people and make this war zone like environment through their energy. So we need to get rid of that. No, go do that in your own neighborhood if that's how you want to behave. Our cops are going to be the ones who live here and who look like us. If you have a different ethnicity and you live here, fine, you can serve if that's what you want to do. And we commend you for that. I commend all officers who go every day and they went and took that job with the intent and still have the intent of wanting to make the world a better place, wanting to be an example and leader in their community, wanting to protect and serve. I commend you for that. I appreciate you for that, and that is needed.